I've never particularly been asked to do transformations, but you know, you just get it in your head, and you just go, I need to. That's what I need to do.
For about 3 months, we trained in Boston, and it was a couple hours a day, and it was brutal. The tricky part was eating.
You have to eat lots?
Just eating everything all the time.
That sounds awful.
See, you think it sounds nice, but it's not just like cheeseburgers. I mean, you have to eat like these just bland, naked pieces of chicken and rice, and it's not that appetizing.
Right.
And you're just so full. It's a pretty uncomfortable feeling.
Eating is the key. 70% is eating.
It's about 4,000 calories a day, maybe 4.5 as I'm bulking up, and then it drops down as I'm leaning up. Drops down to about 3,500 calories. Not the fun calories. This is the chicken, fish, maybe steak. Always protein 6 times a day. Protein, steamed vegetables, and occasionally some brown rice or something like that. Protein shakes, and just like that. No alcohol, no sugar, pretty much nothing that's fun.
Okay, did you start to psychologically lose it?
What you eat is what you is.
And believe it or not, the hardest part was physically eating that amount of food. I had to put on about 17 pounds. It was crazy. I mean, aside from the training, which was literally, it consumed my life for a while. Very intense, a lot of heavy lifting. I won't get into that, it's boring. The hardest part was eating, you know? You just have to eat a ton of calories. And it was all hard calories. It was a lot of chicken breast. I was eating so much chicken breast that the hardest part about it was actually chewing it all. So I would just put it into a blender, blend it all up, and just drink chicken. Isn't that gross?
What's your diet like? You said you're eating chicken, but what specifically, like if you get up at 3 in the morning, what are you eating?
Egg whites, Ezekiel bread, almond butter, and then I'll work out. Then I'll have yogurt and Greek yogurt and a shake, and then I'll have a chicken cooking. Then I'll eat a rotisserie chicken. Then I'll eat turkey burgers. Then I'll eat a fish. I eat probably 7 or 8 meals a day, every 2.5 hours.
Because when you go on the diet as Superman, what does Superman eat?
He eats a lot of things.
Well, name one.
I mean, okay, it depends. If I'm mass building, then I'll eat burgers and stuff.
Mass building.
Yeah.
See, that's
if I'm
where
doing my mass
we're different.
game.
We're different people. Yeah, this is fantastic. Mass building. That's what they call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're just trying to get your arms bigger. So
Yeah, exactly.
Your chest. Yeah. That's cool.
But then when you...
Transforming yourself is really not hard. It's just it requires consistency and dedication, and you have to be willing to sacrifice the things that you want. You have to trade things that are fun, like alcohol consumption, meals at restaurants, things like that, for long, arduous periods of time exercising and physically exhausting and grueling work. It's, anyone is, I was capable of doing it. I think anybody could do it if they wanted to. But unless you had to, I don't see why you would want to.
Your fans are saying Chris Pratt eats no fat. Is that true?
No, I eat plenty of fat.
Yes.
Chris Pratt eats no sugar. That is more true.
Did you ever have a cheat day?
Yes. I was terrified, so it took about 5 months till I allowed myself, or till Magnus gave me a cheat day. But it was on a Sunday, and we shot the movie in London, and we were at the gym and lifting weights, and I guess he just saw that my will to live was fading. and it's been 5 months of broccoli, chicken breast, and that kind of stuff. And he was like, Alex, let me take you to lunch. Put down the weights. Let's go. And he took me to this Italian restaurant and sat me down and said, what do you want? And I was like, what do you mean? What, like chicken breast or salmon? He's like, no, whatever you want on the menu, order. So I got to eat pizza, pasta, tiramisu.
Wow.
I get emotional just talking about it.
I'm someone who likes routine and discipline, weirdly.
I train by myself, actually,
Wow,
and
okay.
that's not a pride thing. I just prefer it. I just like it more. I worked with a trainer named Don Saladino in New York who gave me a plan, and then I just do that plan on my own.
And then the diet?
Yeah, I do that. I've done it enough that I know how to do it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
What do you do for cardio? No cardio?
No, I run. That's the savory answer.
Yeah. So what is the real answer?
I think they get it.
Oh.
I think it's a very long and complicated process with a lot of knowledge required to achieve the thing. That's why we have our trainers who do all that and just tell us what to do and tell us what to eat. I would say, as far as a tip of the person who's being trained, is when it starts to hurt badly and you want to quit, that's really when you shouldn't quit.
Okay, and you?
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, it's just about, you know, the discipline of continuing to do something that you don't want to do and forcing yourself to show up and keep exercising. I mean, it's kind of that simple, you know. It's not pleasant. It's, you know, you feel like you don't want to do it anymore, and that's when you have to keep going.
I wake up at 3. I go down to the kitchen. I make egg whites, Ezekiel bread, almond butter with a little avocado.
Every morning?
Every morning. I go downstairs. I work out for about an hour with my buddy Jonathan. I come up. I have a shake. And then I make a salad and my food to go for the morning. And then I have turkey burgers and sweet potato. And then I go to the golf course at 6 o'clock. I play till 8 o'clock. Then I rush home to meet my wife after she drops off the kids. We have our little alone time. And then I do whatever else I got to do.
Wow.
And then I'm in bed by 7, and my wife thinks I'm an old, boring.
So you go to, that was, my question was, what time do you go to bed if you get up at 3? You go to bed at 7
I
every
got to get
night?
8 hours, yes.
So every day you eat that cleanly?
Yes.
And that's what so you don't have a chef, you do all your cooking yourself?
We have somebody cooks during the week for the kids, and they'll make me a little piece of fish or something at night, but he makes dinner.
Wow, you were really disciplined.
And also, I had to eat like a ton of food. So there were sort of these pre-packaged meals from this company called Zen Foods out of LA, and they just put like 6,000 calories into containers and would just feed it to me all day.
Did you say 6,000 calories?
Up to 6,000 calories a day.
A day?
Yeah. It's sort of unbelievable to me, what I did for 17 years, which I got better at as the time went on. The first one, I thought you could get into shape in 3 weeks. Now I'm eating and loving it, and sometimes just waking up at 2 in the morning just to go and have breakfast cereal, you know, and then go back to bed.
Now,
with it in my lap.
I understand you've got a particular like regimen for what's the.
I find out the date, which is the shirt off thing, and it's about a 3-month run up. So you got to be in pretty good shape, but the 3 months before is very specific, and it finishes with dehydration. Don't do this at home. It's really you increase your water intake up to like. I'm trying to think what the gallons is, but you have about 10 litres of water, which is what is that, 3 gallons of water a day? That's a lot of water. And then you stop about 36 hours before you shoot. But because you've drunk so much water, you are peeing all the time.
That's a day and a half.
Right. So yeah.
But you know,
then
if you
you
go
have
3
nothing.
days without water, you die.
Yeah. So
You're
you go as close
halfway
as
to
you can,
and then go
and then
roll them,
and then put the claws on. Damn it! But you lose like 10 pounds of all of this water weight.
I remember the first day, I was in pretty good shape when I came into this movie. I was skinnier, but I was in good shape.
Right.
And I thought, oh, you know, I know what I'm doing here. He wanted to make sure that I left my ego at the door. So one of our first days of training, he was like, all right, 200 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and you're done. And then he just walked out. And I was left there to do 200 pull-ups.
How can you feel like $1 million when you're in shape, when you're always exhausted? Like, when you're always working out, you never feel what it's like to be, you know, fully strong. I just always feel like, whoa, God, my chest feels like somebody, like, drove a truck over it. You know, so what's the point? I don't know.
Now, for the stunt work, you have to be in top shape. And you are looking fine in this film.
Thank you.
So what do you do to stay in shape?
I work out pretty much every day. I've tried to change the routine. I'm always looking for new bodybuilding routines, and I have. So now I've got it down to like an hour a day, 5 times a week. But mostly it's all diet. What you eat is what you is.
So I take it you're not ordering pizzas for room service?
How'd you know? But you are, right? I caught you already. I knew it. Now, if you eat great, really great, Monday to Friday, from Saturday to Sunday, you can turn into the biggest hog in the universe, and you won't gain an ounce, and you get it all out of your system. So all you have to do is be good for like 4.5 days during the week.
I really wanted to look the part. I was just like 10 meals a day plus the weight gainer and all this stuff. It was fun for like 2 weeks because the first movie I did, I had to really kind of get thin. But after that, it was like, no more.
So wait a minute. So what was the one food that you got totally tired of eating?
Chicken. Chicken. Loads of chicken. Pounds and pounds. I would eat at least 2 rotisserie chickens a day myself.
This is obviously you with your shirt off. Now, how long? Again, I don't know what you looked like beforehand, but like, how long did it take to be that?
To get to that stage, it took 5 months of pre-production training, and that was about 4 months into shooting. Yeah, so 9 months.
For Wolverine, did you do 3 hours a day?
3.
3 hours a day.
So 2 hours in the morning and about 45 minutes in the afternoon.
Okay, and what were you eating?
It's very time consuming.
What do you? Is this where you get to eat everything? You have to eat 6,000 calories a day.
Yes.
I read that in Hollywood Reporter.
This is the. I literally rang Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. I said, man, I've seen you in some movies. I said, what's going on? What do I do? And he went through the diet, and it was 6,000 calories, eating every 2 hours,
But
which
you're not,
basically,
like, eating this,
unfortunately,
right?
no.
No, you're not eating that.
It'd be easy to get 6,000 of these.
Yes, yeah.
That's one nachos and a pizza, but no, it's a meal would look like 2 chicken breasts, steamed broccoli,
So it's still
beans,
lean stuff.
and maybe some carbs.
A lot of training. It was a few months, and I'm used to doing it now. But there is that element at the beginning where you actually do have to put down the Cheetos and the cheeseburgers, and you go, "Oh, here we go." But it's great. I don't know what kind of shape I would be in if I wasn't an actor, because I put these things in front of me, and whether it's learning to surf or learning to fight or getting your body in trim, it's a great thing to dangle in front of you.
Yeah, it is. But then, like, once the shoot is over, do you slack off and just terrible?
The worst. And every time I say, I'm not going to do it, I'm going to stay fit, I'm going to stay trim.
But if somebody asks you to spot them, it's really easy. So, hey, dude, can you come and spot me? The answer is very easy. And it's great gym etiquette. You could be comfortable with telling them, say, no, go fuck yourself.
I will remember that.
Do you try and gain a little weight between films?
I try to do it, believe it or not. I overdo it on the weekends. During the week, it's almost all protein, and by the Friday night, I'm ravenous. And then I'll bulk up, and then by Monday, I'm back on the regime. That way, my body at least is appeased a little bit. But never bulk up full. I did it once in Fist, and I've never had a more difficult time in my life. Oof.
Taking it off.
Oh, boy.
How many calories a day are you taking?
Sometimes I'll be down to 1,100. Yeah, I'll be down to 1,100, and then on the weekend, I could be up to like 9,000. I mean, we're talking tons of French toast. We're talking about peanut butter in my hair. You know, it's like, yeah. There you go.
The very first movie, I had no idea. I was basically a skinny guy. I was doing Oklahoma here in London. I got the part. I went. And I had 3 weeks, and I was like, oh, cool, 3 weeks, I'll be able to turn into Wolverine. Literally, they had to shoot. If you watch X-Men 1, the very first scene I shot is me coming down in the mansion downstairs, down that blue hallway, running down with my shirt off, and they had to shoot around me because it's just really not good. And so they shot the very first scene at the very end 4 months later because it took me that long. So for this one, I rang Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and I had to do Les Mis, and I lost some weight for that, and I said, what do I have to do? And he said, you got to have minimum 6 months. And actually, I really had some time before Les Mis, so I started the training probably a year out. So I eat 6,000 calories a day. I train for about 3 hours a day in the gym.
Every day. Do you have
I
a day
train
off?
every day, but I don't do weights every day. I do weights like 5 days a week.
Right, so it's not just free weights. You'll do machine workouts as well, do you?
No, pretty much free weights.
Free weights are the way.
Yeah, the free weights are much better to stay injury free.
Right.
Yeah.
I seem to get injuries more when I'm on the machines, but you know, the key things are like deadlifts and squats and, you know, obviously bench press and one-arm rows, military press, things like that.
Wow. You're on like some crazy diet right now, I heard, because of this movie that you're shooting.
A couple of small salads, a couple of small pieces of protein, and it's kind of it. And you go to bed hungry, and then you have a fasting period of like 15 hours. Like you stop eating completely, and then you have little meals through the day.
You should be skinny for the next Thor movie, like a really scrawny and starved Thor.
I should, you know, a character piece, wouldn't it? It'd be,
speaking
he'd
of
be depressed and. You know.
Talk about two very important co-stars. Your biceps. They make they make an appearance. What is?
All right, that was good. That was funny. That was good.
Every time you're about to shoot, are you just like pumping before you roll?
That day we were. You know, I'm not going to pretend I wasn't. Yeah. The day we did the helicopter thing. You know, you're in a t-shirt. You know, you want to look good. I'm not going to try and pretend that I just walk around like that. Yeah, you prepare.
Is there a lot of pressure to keep up?
Yeah. The answer is yes. Yes. Yeah, you want to make sure you look the role, and you want to make sure that, you know, it's tough reading those comic books because in the comic books he's like 6'4", 240 or something. He's a huge animal. I'm nowhere near that. So, you know, you want to make sure that you do your best to at least get close to the idea that some of these comic book fans have in their head.
I think the number one thing that a lot of people, for whatever reason, become adverse to, carbs are your friend.
I like the way you think.
Come on. carbs are good carbs.
The workout was a lot of work. I had a great trainer, a guy named Walter Norton, and he, you know, it was about showing up every day. Really, that's the thing. And sometimes I had to do it like, you know, early in the mornings or whatever, you know, before, because I was working on another movie. I was doing Gone Girl before I did this, and so I'd be shooting that movie and then have to work out and, you know, get ready in the mornings before Gone Girl. So it's just about like getting out of bed in the morning, being willing to do it even when you hate it, you know. And I would have totally given up if I didn't know that, you know, I had to be on camera, so I couldn't cheat. I had to like get up there and do it. Otherwise, you know, it would be, you know, you got to be. Audiences expect you to look like a superhero now.
You know, obviously, you want to look, you know,
Pump the guns.
want to look big. So every time they yelled cut, I'd run off set, and they brought some weights on the set for me. So every time we had a break in filming, I would run off and just start lifting weights. But as a result, you know, you're working out pretty much the entire day for multiple days. So by the end of the sequence, I was exhausted.
I ended up training twice a day because I had 5 months, and I thought, how do I expand 5 months into longer? You train twice a day, then it's 10 months, you know, and then that's 10 months of learning in 5 months. And so I just trained and trained and trained. And obviously, in order to learn more, once you start to learn more, you need your body to be in a place where you can continue to do it.
You obviously worked out a lot for this movie. Was that sort of torture for you, or do you like that?
It was torture. I'm not in shape. You know what I mean? I'm not even in good shape, and I hate to exercise. But I knew that if I didn't get it together, the movie wouldn't work. I wouldn't seem tough or intimidating or like a professional athlete or a guy who was a drug addict and had taken all that energy and you know, put it into working out. So, you know, and to me it started to become a measure of like, how hard am I working on this movie? How much am I willing to give? And it was an external manifestation of that. So I worked out like crazy until the movie ended, and then I also used lighting tricks.
Okay. Well, that's handy that you know the director.
It is handy that I know the director. He helped me out in trying to accomplish my goals.
So are you a sort of grumpy guy to be around when you're working out?
I'm actually okay. At first I was really, like, you know, I felt like throwing up every time, and I felt incredibly lazy, and I hated doing it. But like anything, the beginning of it's the hardest. Like the first day is the hardest, second day is the second hardest, and once you get going, it actually established for me like a kind of a discipline where if I did that, if I worked out, and I would tend to, you know, get other stuff accomplished like that I needed to get done, and so it helped me focus for the movie.
It's an all-year thing. I probably spent 18 months doing it, really. And we wrapped the film, and I went straight back into training. Deb's like, "You're obsessed. You finished the film." And I said, "Yeah, but I might need to do it again, Deb." She goes, "No, you're obsessed." I finally had to give up that idea that you can do it all in an hour and a quarter a day, and you can't. So that's a good way to do it. But for me, I just lose too much size doing CrossFit. So I do 2 hours in the morning, an hour of cardio, hour of weights, and then I do a weights cardio mix in the afternoon. More like a CrossFit in the afternoon. Yeah. But I have to do some heavy weights and all the things you don't want to do, like the rowing machine, like the front squats, like the deadlifting, all that stuff.
What was your diet like to get into the shape that you got in for Batman?
It was like a lot of protein and not a lot of carbs, but just, you know, eating like 4 or 5 times a day. And, you know, you have to keep your calories up to build muscle. That was the hardest part. And you just get sick of food and you don't want to eat any more like orange roughy, you know, or white fish or chicken. And, but you have to sort of keep a steady diet of that, and then just lifting weights, you know, for a couple hours a day. And it gets old. It gets old.
Like literally, you know, brown rice, grilled chicken, broccoli, a gallon and a half of water a day, and working out 2 to 3 times a day, 6 days a week for about 1.5 years. And then your body will change. Wow. It will definitely change.
4 o'clock in the morning, I wake up, have my caffeine.
4 o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock in the morning. Then by 4:30, 4:45, I'm doing some sort of cardio. I do this, and then I'll have breakfast, and then I will go do all my strength and conditioning training at a gym for about an hour, and then I'll go to set. Between cardio, strength, and resistance training, stretching, maybe about an hour and 45 minutes.
Okay.
That's not too bad.
Not too bad.
Not too bad, but it's not all at one shot. Well, I think the structure of the diet all starts with whatever the goal is. The diet is structured, and it's probably somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 calories a day. That's very balanced of carbohydrates and fats and proteins and greens and things like that.
When you're on the set 12, 14 plus hours a day, How are you able to then sleep and then also make time for the gym?
This is what happens.
Okay.
You get yourself as big as you can, and then as you're shooting, you slowly get smaller. It's just what happens. Throughout the movie, you just slowly lose your mass. So you need to come to set as big as you can possibly get yourself in anticipation of exhaustion.
Okay, did you start to psychologically lose it? I would think, I mean, for how long did you have to?
Well, because, yeah, they gave me 6 meals a day, which is quite a lot, but the size, the portion was like this size.
Yeah.
So I was constantly hungry, and I had to eat every 3 hours, which meant that I spent the entire day thinking about food.
Yeah.
So when I finished a meal, I would go, all right, 2 hours and 55 minutes to my next meal.
Yeah.
And then like the entire day would revolve around those meals, and I would just look forward to the next.
Now, are we talking a period of weeks? Are we talking, how long did this have to go on for?
9 months.
9 months? No, I would rather dig a ditch.
Right, and then we wrapped the movie. And I fell off the wagon completely. And 5 months later, David Barron, our producer, called me and said, so we have this little scene we've added in the end of the movie that we want to shoot in 4 months. It's about a 5-second scene, so can you go back on that diet for that scene?
So what'd you do?
Well, in hindsight, I should have, because you saw the Mangani, the ape there. That fella is CGI. So I went back on the diet and did another 4 months.
That's not the answer.
For that one scene.
No.
I know.
That's when you say CGI, MFer.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
because then I realized, well, if they CGI the elephants, the lions, the Mangani, come on.
I got another word for you. Body double.
The nice thing to say is that I've never had a single director actually ask me to do any of this stuff. Everyone's kind of gone, well, we can probably do it with a bit of makeup, with a bit of prosthetics, we can do it. And then they discover I'm really doing it myself. And they've always gone, are you okay doing that? You know, So I've never actually had anybody say, you have to get to this place. It's always been me who said, I have to get to that place.
My nickname in school was Fat Cavill. Which was a very apt nickname, considering my name was indeed Cavill, and I was indeed fat.
You know, I'm pretty lucky in the sense that my metabolism is pretty quick. Food isn't always the biggest conflict for me. I feel like, you know, for me to get in shape, I just got to spend time in the gym. I don't have to be as strict with the diet as I do needing to be strict with the hours spent working out.
Call me and say, well, you know, how do you look right now? You know, like, how am I gonna seriously be able to suggest to Warner Brothers that you could play Batman ever if, you know, you're that skinny? I was just stuffing my face all day long and lifting heavy weights and eating more and eventually went up to like 220 pounds. I just listened to what he said about get as big as you possibly can. So that's what I did, you know? I certainly have had many actors call me for advice. And unfortunately, I didn't do it under any kind of doctor's monitoring. And so I'm loath to give advice because what if it goes wrong for somebody else? But, you know, there's really not much of a secret to it. You eat less, you do more, you know? And however extreme you take that, the more skinny you're gonna be. I just became obsessed with that look and said, I've got to try to achieve that.
And do directors ever push back on those kind of ideas from you?
David was going, well, you know, I don't know, do you really need to do that? He would kind of occasionally see me and go, oh my God, what do you put on this weight for? The same with the fighter. I remember,
That's the problem, is people want to know what the secret is. The secret is you can't do it in a month.
Thank you. I like that.
It takes 8 months, or a year, or a lifetime of consistency, working out every single day, and eating properly and truly feeding yourself, not starving yourself, but giving yourself proper nutrition to heal. You have to burn off all the crap you've put in your body, and then you have to replace it with really good food and fuel. And it takes a long time. But really, 8 months is not that long. I mean, what were you doing in May, right?
Yeah,
that
exactly. That was
ago.
yesterday, right?
And when you're looking back, 8 months goes by really quickly. When you're looking forward, it seems like it's crazy. It's a long prospect. Even 8 hours can be a long time. But it just takes a little bit of consistency, and time is going to go by just as fast whether you're doing it or not. So who do you want to be 8 months from now? You want to be in good shape? Then get on it today.